Ideally, I think it means that we're looking at kind of a fostering relationship from 3X to us. We are fairly new to our relationship with you all in this industry, security as a whole. So for us, it's probably different than it might be for some other partners of yours. We're looking for the relationship to be one in which you all are providing information to us and guidance on the right products and the services that we need to be offering to our customers. Some partners may be just, think that they know everything, and we're certainly not there. What we want and what we're getting from 3X Logic is a relationship where you all are providing proactively information and training and support as we come across opportunities to help us close the deal and help us do the design if it's complex. We're probably a little bit more needy than maybe some partners are out there, quite frankly, but we'd rather do the job right and provide the right solution the first time around, and then that way everybody wins. Up on a year this summer, so probably, I don't know, 8-9 months at this point, probably not even that long, maybe 7 months. And of course, part of that, a lot of that was us leaning on you a lot for the training and coming up to speed. So I guess on paper it's been, 8 or 9 months, but really, it took us a couple of months to kind of get locked in and loaded and know what we were talking about. We have a relationship with another company that does video surveillance, but once we joined the 3X Logic team and realized the integration that was fairly seamless between the access control and the video surveillance, that other company hasn't heard from us very much. Sure you guys love to hear that. Quite frankly, it would just be useless to go out and bid on video surveillance and then leave access control on the table. That just doesn't make sense. So if you're going in and you're having discussions with businesses for video surveillance, you have the opportunity right then and there. You might as well bring up access control. And I can't tell you how many times that's happened for us. We're not into proactive monitoring customers' systems yet, but we might be getting into that later on down the road too. Just the combination of the 1-2 punch of video surveillance and access control with you guys has been it's been a wild and fun and crazy ride over the last 7-8 months. Some days we felt like we were drinking from a fire hydrant. You guys seem to kind of have somebody there to turn the valve and notch it down for us so we don't drown. So it's good to know that we've got the life preservers on, and that you guys have kind of got us on a short rein here to help us with these things that we're still learning. So I would say that we'll probably continue to morph into some other security products and maybe intrusion and alarm systems. Right. But man, the opportunity right now, quite frankly, just for video surveillance and access control together is just huge. And there's a couple of industries right now that are just booming that we're definitely looking at the next 5 years is going to be tremendous for our relationship with you guys. It's hard to walk away from opportunities that are staring you in the face from the security side. So, we still have our existing base of customers, several thousand customers that are using us for their voice and data communication solutions and hosted voice over IP. And we'll continue to support them and continue to move them to other carriers as things change. But quite frankly, did a major shift in the focus, communications kind of being one side of the house and security the other side of the house. So it used to be kind of up until last year, well, including the latter part of last year, it was like a 65-35 split. 65% of revenues was communications, 30% maybe was security. This year, I think we're going to be at least at a 50-50 ratio and maybe a 60-40 with security being the 60%. So that's a huge transition for any company of any size. to go through. And it's been challenging for us to balance how we're doing that and put in checks and balances and process improvements to make sure that we're doing things the right way. We don't want to just slap things together. So, if it wasn't for those pieces that we had to do, I think it could even be a 70-30 split with, security being the 70%. But you have to be careful about growing too fast too soon. The huge difference for us was the hand holding, the attention to detail that we got whenever we jumped on board with you all last year. So, our technicians were trying to learn access control, and never at any point did anybody on your team, including yourself, nobody ever made us feel ignorant or less than, or no question was a dumb question. And so that helps a lot whenever you're stepping into something, because you're afraid of, like, okay, I'm just going to like drown real quick. And we just never felt that with you guys. So the support is the huge differentiator for us. And, quite frankly, and I've said this with all of my, carriers over the years, with, telecom providers, hosted voice over IP providers, the product of any company can be great. But if the relationship of the channel manager or the support salesperson isn't really strong, especially right from the get-go, it can really set the course for a kind of lost to sea. And you can see I have the sea behind me. You don't want to feel like you're just this wandering ship out there, all by yourself. Whenever we stepped into our relationship with you all, you taking the time, Andrew, to come alongside us and come to Kansas City to meet with me personally, and supporting us and working alongside with us on a large trade show, and discussions about partnering with us in the future on things like that, sponsoring us, being one of our sponsors for our Christmas party, where we bring in agents that we work with. We celebrate them, and we try to build this relationship between these agents that are a lot of times IT companies that work with us, making that introduction. You guys were there and supportive of that. It was really evident from the get-go that you all were ready to lock arms with us and say, hey, let's do this. We believe in you. We're willing to invest our time, our resources, making sure that we felt comfortable with the product and that we felt comfortable with you guys. So hats off to you personally for that, because everything else could have been great, but if the relationship wasn't there from you, if you didn't follow up with me and with our technicians, and those are the things that make a big difference. So it's, the relationship is very, very important, and you guys have nailed that. Well, you are our number one valued vendor. So, and that's even with all of the communications services that we've got. So we have one particular hosted voice over IP provider that we are locked in really, really tight with. And I would have said, 3 months ago, it was them, but now it's become 3X Logic because of the opportunities that we're stumbling on in this vertical market. So, you are our number one vendor. I really can't think of anything that you all aren't doing, except for the fact that I'm not wearing my 3X Logic shirt today, because I think you're going to send that to me. But I've got plenty other shirts too. So really, there's nothing that I can think of, because I expect that the next time I reach out to you and I say, hey, can you do this? Your answer is going to be yes. Even laying out plans for us to get to the next levels of our discounts, and that's very, very helpful. So I just say, as we continue to get to those next, trying to get to those next steps with those bigger discounts, just continue to let us know monthly, how we're doing on an annual basis to get to those other levels. But other than that, man, I can't think of anything that you guys aren't doing. Every time that the techs tell me that they're reached out and they have questions, you guys do a fantastic job at that. And whenever I call. It seems like, I mean, even in the evenings, if I have a question, you're there. So you really can't expect any more. We just love you guys.
Well, we love you too, man.